G'day, mate. Welcome to Friday Facts 295. We've got a new design for the chem plant, and I've got a famous mojo here with me. How you, mate?
You sure you mean famous or infamous?
Famous, infamous, grand shoutcaster of Brighter Battles, because that happened this morning.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, VODs are on my channel and Clowntown's channel, because we both shoutcasted, and it was Dr. Doof versus Colonel Will, and it was another great match.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Spectacular defeat.
It
I won't say who. Although you could probably guess it by this point.
Yeah. It was another really, really good match. Anyway.
Yeah. Chem plant.
Well, chem plant. No, hang on. We've got a one-liner here. Hello, bug fixes, period, boring continues. Down 159 active bug reports. In a few weeks, should be finally done with this burn. It says down. It should say done with this burn. But yes.
Oh, they'll never go away completely, but it'll become manageable.
It'll become... Look, for most devs, 159 bugs, they'll be like, yep, we're done. We're done.
It sounds like... I was going to say it sounds like Oxygen Not Included, but no, yeah. Theirs would be like multiplied
by 5. Like, we're under 1,000. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Like, hey, we got the bugs under 1,000. Yeah. Let's kick out the next update.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, we've got a new chem plant, and this is actually the first update for the graphics for the chem plant since they were released in 0.9. Yes.
That's actually really interesting, because that actually, now that you say that, it didn't occur to me, but that would be true of the oil refinery.
It is. So we're going to have both of them. Like, obviously this week's going to be the chem plant. Next week has to be the oil refinery, because obviously the graphics team's finished with one, and it's time for them to work on the next one. And I've got to say, the chem plant I've hated, because if you turn on the alt view, the only way to see what's in a chem plant is the little chimney stack, the very top of it, that liquid changes color depending on what it's doing. And if you turn on alt view, that covers
it, hides it,
item.
Yes.
Yeah. Which means you can tell what recipes it's doing, but you can't tell if it's working or not without then clicking on it. And if you're at map view or something scanning the other side of the map, you can't see.
Yeah.
So...
And that's where mods like Bottleneck come into play, is because it's replacing that functionality that really should have been there in the first.
It's the same with an assembler. Like, the gears on the top move, but if you've got on alt mode, you can't see those gears.
Yep. And
I'm finding myself more and more often turning off alt mode to look at assemblers to find out if they're actually running or not. So, devs, I hope you watch this. I hope you take that into consideration when you get the assembly machines upgrade done. Pretty lights is enough indication for something's working or not. Just saying.
I wouldn't be surprised if in the not too distant future we do see updated we're seeing chemical plants, but assembly. I think everything's going to get an overhaul.
I think everything's going to get an overhaul, because the old graphics, the new graphics look very, very different.
Yes. That's actually the next point. Looking at the graphic in general, is it's more representative of, say, the substation and the new accumulators and some of the other new graphics that have come in. I'm pretty sure there's more.
There's lots more lasers, gun turrets, walls, power poles. Things are being added bit by bit. And look, I've got to say, scrolling down, actually looking at the chem plant, this is, of course, one view. It rotates 4 different ways, pseudo rotates. It looks really, really good. It's got an animation. More importantly, if you've got that alt mode on, you'll at least be able to see the bottom right-hand side to see that it's actually spinning and doing something. And that smoke comes out only if it's active, which is really important.
That's going to be a really good visual indicator.
Yeah. In the old version, we had the problem of not being very clear when the chemical plant was working or not. See, they agree. So part of the style modernization and high resolution redesign was aimed at solving this readability issue. As an addition, we try to be very clear at the time of viewing what kind of chemical recipe the plant is processing. As you can see in the animation, smoke is also taking in the tinted color of the processing chemical. Should be crystal clear what's going on with this entity. This tinted smoke is very experimental, and we need to make more testing before release it. The point is to avoid too much colourful pollution, but in terms of concept, I find it very chemical, having coloured smoke, which could fit perfectly with the subject. And honestly, for my oil refinery, I want all the colours in the world. I want some red,
you want it to be colourful. You want it to be just
belching
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I want black.
All kinds of iridescent colours.
Yeah, Like
'Cause-
refinery can just be fire, but every other one I want coloured. I want some really... Because it's a chemical plant. I want to spew out all the coloured smoke.
And that's actually another thing too, is that I know there's going to be quite a few people, I haven't looked on Reddit, but I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to complain, oh, it doesn't make that colour smoke.
Yeah, there's going to be realists out there that go, like, boiling from this to this, it's turning into a gas and turning it back into a... I don't give a shit. I don't care if going from heavy oil to light oil equals purple smoke. Heavy's red, light's orange. I want a red to go to orange, then I want orange to go to petroleum or something. I want coloured smoke.
The colours there as visual cues and visual indicators. They're not there to indicate any kind of real. Speaking of, something I just noticed, although that does involve scrolling down a bit to the different rotation.
Yeah. I'm looking at the rotations now.
Yeah, particularly top row. Yeah, actually both the top and bottom one of the right-hand side. That window is right where the modules would be displayed.
Oh, it is too. Yeah. So they've said that there's 4 pseudo rotations, and they are pseudo rotations. They're not a direct rotation because they wanted to keep that chimney at the rear and they wanted to keep the glass window at the front.
Yeah.
Which
so it does look a bit wonky.
I agree with, and it means the rotation's not perfect. But look, let's be honest, it's a game. Who cares?
No one's going to notice.
We left reality back a long time ago when we had inserters that can take things out of a side panel of a factory and put it on a belt. Let's just leave that stuff way back there. But yeah, Mojo's right. Those modules will sit right across that window.
Yep. So we really do need those chimney stacks to belch iridescent colours.
That, or I know it breaks the current design they have of the game, but maybe put the modules on the left-hand side. Because the left-hand side on all 4 of them is very clear. To keep that window free.
That's true. It would require a big change to completely change how they represent showing modules.
Surely it could be changed for just one entity.
The game probably doesn't have the functionality to do it, and then they would have to apply that property to every item once they add it. As do you want to left align it, right align it? How do you want to present it?
Yeah, probably.
That information.
Okay. It's probably a lot of work, but...
Yeah, it's deceptively simple. It's one of those things where it sounds simple until you think about it.
It sounds simple until you actually go to code it, yeah. It's my 2 cents, either that or shift the window. But again, that's going to cost a whole lot of hours worth of dev work doing artwork, because I know that takes just as long.
Basically scrapping what you got and starting over.
Yeah, it is.
And then you think about visually, how do you represent that? It's meant to be a window, you're going to have to push it up higher off the ground, which doesn't really make sense.
Or far left or far right. Because the bottom left one works fine, because the window is really far to the right-hand side.
I suspect far left or far right would be possible.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, down here they've said Factorio wouldn't be a factor if things would be easy. Rotate them all in 3D and done due to readability requirements, camera perspective, and the interaction of any other entity in the game. We're to recompose the entity for every rotation. That's by rotating the entity 90 degrees in the window remains at the front, the chimney in the back, which I've already said. Basic rotation is like a new entity. It tries to look like all its other rotations. But it's somehow rotated. So yeah, it's like I said, pseudo rotation.
That looks so weird. The way it does that to keep the window at the front.
Yeah, it's close but not perfect.
I just get this feeling that that bottom bit isn't round. It's trying to be, but then it kind of gets lost.
It's. I think it's round, but it's not centered. It's sort of offset. Like the bottom left one, it looks round. The bottom right, it looks round and sort of pulled to the front left corner.
I think that's what does it for me is it changes position.
Yeah. But I understand that it's a graphical thing. They've chosen to do it intentionally this way.
Yeah.
So it's easy and readable, and the chimney's always the back, so hopefully it's not going to cover anything.
It's a compromise you have to make, unfortunately.
Because I found with the space exploration mod, a lot of items have a pipe They're 3x3, and they're going to pipe center middle at the bottom and center middle at the top. And the artwork is so tall that I can't see that pipe. Time and time again, I can't see a pipe behind the building. And then I'll put everything down and find out the building's not work because it's got an output pipe that I actually had to hook up, because there's lots of buildings that have multiple pipes that some are optional, some are required. And yeah, I don't know until I find out that it's not working, and then add a couple of pipes and try and blindly connect them up, and suddenly it starts working. So yeah, no, the devs have done a really good job of trying to make sure everything is clear and you can see all the pipe connections at all times, and the window and the smoke, and yeah, it's I can't wait to see it in game.
Oh yeah, that'll be great.
But
I really want to see the oil refinery done as well.
The oil refinery and the assembler, they're the two. Maybe the Roboport. Have we seen a new Roboport yet?
Yeah, Roboport was done in 15, the current one, but it's still the old. It's sort of a transitional art style, the Roboport.
Yeah, it looks newer, but not quite what we've got
it doesn't
currently.
quite have that more cartoony look to it. Same with the pump. The pump was done at the same time.
Yeah, the pump's not so bad. I don't mind the pump. And the pump was done.
One of the first of the real high resolution graphics.
Yeah, but the pump was done because it finally accessed fluid wagons. So it needed to be overhauled because it needed the new graphics for the new mechanic.
It's actually interesting that the fluid wagon, it has that more rounded stylized look to it, but it still has the texturing of the oldest gritty blues and brown style.
It feels like 14, but it's not quite 16. It's in that halfway period. The pump at least has the two cylinders with the glass. You can see the fluid moving through it. So I'd put that more 16, 17 rather than the 14. But yeah, the fluid wagon, maybe the fluid wagon just needs some windows. It needs a bit of glass.
Maybe you can see inside it so you can see the different colour.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this Friday Facts. It's another short one. There's not a lot in it. Even though we managed to stretch 12 minutes out of it. But, you know, that's why you come watch us. It's for the history and the back talk and everything else. Not reading
and the
Friday
tangents.
Facts. Yeah, and the tangents. Yep. Not reading the Friday Facts and going, that's it. You know, it's over and done with. But yeah, refineries, assemblers. I think that's really my two big ones.
My big one is beacons. Big one was beacons behind. So the first one for me was always walls, and then it was done for 17.
Yeah.
And then after that was beacons. Beacons, I think, go back to version 7 or 8. It's not the original beacon graphic, it's actually a second one. The original one was even worse.
Beacon Wiki got a new graphic in 10.
10 then, there you go. I thought it was earlier.
No, they were introduced in 6 and got a new beacon, new graphic update in 10.
I think Pumpjack's got an update at some point too.
Yeah, I remember Pumpjack's got a redo.
I think that might have been 13 or 14.
Yeah, I don't know what the old beacons look like, but I can imagine they were pretty terrible.
They're pretty rough.
But yeah, okay, yeah, beacons can be added to my list as well. It's refineries and assemblers, really.
Beacons is top of my list now since walls are done, and now that chemical plant's been done, I want to see refineries. That's the next big one.
Maybe next week. Anyway, I think we'll call it for this Friday Facts. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, there's a link to the blog post at the bottom, and if you've got thoughts for the devs, go yell at them on the forums because they read that.
Forums, Discord, to a lesser extent Reddit.
Yeah, look, forums is really where you want to hit up the devs. They read everything on the forums, and neither of us have looked at the forums yet because the Friday Fact's like 4 or 5 hours old.
Yes.
And people start commenting really in the next 12 hours or so. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
See ya.